I originally disrespected Umbreon EX, probably too much more than I should have. He is definitely not the worst evolution out there. I'd probably have to give that honor to Vaporeon for just being so whatever. But I have to give Umbreon EX some credit. This is mostly due to some superficial traits about it, such as it being a Dark type EX that is also a Tera type, while also being in the Eevee family, which definitely gives it a boost. Some of the important facts about like being a Dark Tera type is it gives you both a Glass Trumpet enabler that can also attack for decent damage. And this is only relevant because Blissey EX plus Munkidori was a combination that always kind of wished it could do a little bit more, but really couldn't. And so having a new attacker in the Umbreon that could both activate as a attacker with the dark energies and a user and enabler of the Glass Trumpet makes the deck actually kind of stand out. The ability to confuse the opponent is more annoying than anything, but if you combine that with like a Gravity Gemstone and the fact that they might not want to retreat, it can create some dangerous board states, and then you might click Onyx every once in a while. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment down below, and subscribe, and I'll see you. Alrighty, and getting started with these first two matches, I do want to give a heads up. The first two matches that I show off here will be a slightly different version of the build. It did take me a while to figure out like the ratios and what types of cards I wanted to run, so I don't have an Eevee EX or a Fezandipiti in the deck yet, and I really do think you should be including those, especially because the Eevee EX will allow you to turn on your Glass Trumpets before you are able to fully evolve, and it's a little bit bulkier too. Being able to survive, like Dragon Ball hits, for example. My opponent has a Dragon Ball and an Alakazam here, which I'm really not too scared of the Alakazam, but I am a little concerned about the Dragon Ball, especially if it ends up attacking turn 2 and taking out the Eevee I'm about to grab. Also go ahead and Ultra Ball a TM Turbo Energize here, which I don't necessarily think is the correct play. I do think I should maybe just discard the Psychic or Dark Energy instead of the TM Turbo Energize, because then that would allow me to grab the Forest Seal Stone in this place, and grabbing the Forest Seal Stone would just, give me the extra option of next turn being able to grab a different supporter. Thankfully, I'm just built different, and I get the Forest Seal Stone anyway, so it doesn't matter. Here, I really don't know what types of energies I want to draw up out of the deck. I don't have any Munkidoris on the field because of how clubbed my setup is, having to start Mimikyu and put down a Lumineon. So I just go ahead and take the two Dark Energies out. They're definitely the most useful, being able to activate Umbreon EX's attack and be swapped off to the Munkidori. So I'm really not like too concerned about everything else. And my opponent is also going to have a slow start here, having to play Perrin and get a Dry Cloak out. Other than that, I'm fine taking my time here. And as I say that, they involve the Alakazam up, so unfortunately no easy knockout for me. But the Mimikyu is going to buy me some time while I try to figure out what to do. I'm trying to wonder if I use the Forest Seal Stone to just grab a supporter already, and I do think that this hand isn't going to leave me anywhere if somebody's done cards, so I really just hope the Iono is going to get me a little bit further. Maybe an early trigger on my Forest Seal Stone, but I do believe it'll be fine, as I do draw into the Blissey, and this will allow me to start attaching some energies onto the field. I do want to get an energy onto the Eevee, so it can be ready to attack with a manual attachment and a happy switch, and I will just take the energy off the Chansey, who is more susceptible than my Blissey, and put it onto the Mimikyu. I actually don't really need this damage to go onto the Alakazam. It's mostly just to threaten my opponent to do something, as opposed to sit here the entire time. And it could possibly lead to Blissey getting a knockout in the future. But, I mean, Umbreon's going to knock this out one hit, so I'm really not too scared. As my opponent's also going to take a slow setup here, going for the instant charge, and really not get a whole lot going on. I'm going to go ahead and start discarding even more energies so my Glass Trumpets can start working. Unfortunately for me, I don't have an Eevee EX to play, or an Umbreon EX, so I do have the Iono away, turn off my Glass Trumpet, or not being able to use my Glass Trumpet. Thankfully here, it's fine, and I am able to get the Glass Trumpet in my Iono, set more energies up. And this is kind of why I wish I had an Eevee EX earlier on in the build, because it would allow me to end up using the Glass Trumpet and getting the attack off this turn, where right now it's a little bit too much of a commitment. I don't really want to use my Night Stretcher and grab the energy back immediately when I might need it for a different resource later. My opponent is going to go ahead and Crispin, which will mean that they can both retreat out of the active and attacking the Mimikyu this turn, clearing their own Mimikyu problem. Asset, they also just switch out too, but I don't think saving the Alakazam is going to be super worth it. And now that my opponent's taken the first prize, this does turn on my counter catcher, which I will gladly take advantage of to go ahead and get rid of this Alakazam, try to get ahead. The Gravity Stone might be cute for slowing down the opponent, but I actually don't expect too much out of it currently, as I will just go ahead, pass the Psychic Energy onto my Umbreon, so I can technically Onyx. We don't need to, but we could. And the Greninja is also going to help me draw out just a little bit further. I do contemplate whether or not I want to put down the Area 0 first, and I figure it's fine, because getting the second Eevee down gives me the security that a Dragapult won't immediately knock out one of my Eevees, and I won't be able to set up a second evolution. But also, if they do clear my Area 0, then I'm really not losing the bench. I'm losing the Lumineon, who is already a liability, and possibly the Greninja down the line as I fill up my bench of more guys. So really, I'm not super concerned. What I am concerned is the Mimikyu staring in front of me. Now, granted, I could just Onyx, and take 4 prizes that way, but that's really inconvenient, and I definitely don't have the resources to keep doing that with only 3 copies of Glass Trumpet in the deck. So, I will have to find another way around it. And thankfully, the Munkidoris will just be able to slowly put chip damage onto it and probably clear it out of the way. So, yeah. He's going to go ahead and put his damage on, and I am just going to go ahead and Glass Trumpet more energies into play. I kind of feel like you can't go wrong with having energies around, so, I'm just going to go ahead and take my chances. And I'll even Ultra Ball there. I think there's a big consideration for me to do so, because it could have immediately got me my Munkidori, but I just figured I don't want to burn my second Area 0, just in case it becomes relevant. And I also don't want to lose my Earthen Vessel. I guess losing the Earthen Vessel is fine, because I've already pulled out almost every energy from the deck, if not every energy, so maybe I was too loose on that one, but I definitely didn't want to get rid of the second Area 0 when Munkidori might be a big way for me to get back into the game. I am going to go ahead and actually just confuse the Mimikyu here and attempt to slow it down, or at least force them to swap out. And in this case, swapping them out would get rid of the threat in front of me and force them to use more resources and get more energies out of the way. And that's relevant to me because I don't think that they're going to have a lot of recovery tools if they're running cards such as Kadabra and Mimikyu and Dragapult. I don't think they have all these tools that keep recovering. I'm able to just clear the Greninja and the Lumineon. The Greninja at this point wasn't that useful since, like I said, the Earthen Vessel, I probably don't have a lot of energies still in the deck, so this is good. And I also burned 2 more energies off my opponent by forcing him to retreat for 2. I do also learn, I think in this game, that my Gravity Stone causes my retreat cost to be higher, which I don't think I ever knew about that when I originally saw the card, so oops. The Dragapult attack is going to come down, and it's just going to take a knockout against my Eevee here. Typically, this would be a little bit concerning, because it would mean that there's less damage to be healed, but my Umbreon is able to take it like a champ. I do Tera Orb, and I don't have a second Umbreon available to me, so I will just have to accept with the Sylveon, who really isn't that bad. I do wish I could get a Psychic Energy onto it. I'm not entirely sure if I was playing a additional Psychic Energy at this point, or if it was just a Luminous, but yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put some damage onto the Mimikyu, but not knock it out yet. And one of the reasons for this is I don't want them to fezz out and have an easy way to get out of the situation. I do know that they have 2 energies in their hand because of the Earthen Vessel, but that will take some time, and they don't have any other alternatives currently available to them, unless they hit a Crispin or something. So really I'm just trying to stretch my opponent's resources thin, as they can't retreat out right here. And this is going to allow me to put 160 damage on, and I can actually also fuck up the energy here. I'm definitely supposed to like possibly prep myself to attack with the Sylveon, but I realized that I might be going for Onyx this turn, seeing as I don't want to like actually take a knockout with all the stuff that I have on the field. And if I put more energies on my Umbreon, then I would lose the ball. Unfortunately, this is not like Pikachu EX, where it says you could just discard 3 energies at a period. You have to discard all your energies, which really blows. Alas, that is where we're at. He does attach his second energy, which allows him to retreat, and puts him in a position where Dragon Ball can go ahead and just take a knockout against my Umbreon here. Unfortunately, I don't have the Psychic Energy in play, so it'd be really tough for me to get a knockout with the Sylveon here. That said, both the Fezandipiti and the Mimikyu are just like damage counters away from dying, so I already have the Fezandipiti on lockdown with my Munkidori, thankfully. And there's no way that he can spread the damage out that he can't get knocked out by my Munkidori here, thankfully. So all I have to do is get another one, and seeing as that he played a Chorus in this instance, it seems like I'm in the clear, because I'll be able to just Nest Ball out for the Munkidori energy switch around and kill both the Fez and the Mimikyu for game. So it's kind of funny, in the very first game that I was able to play, I was able to actually use Onyx to get a prize and stall out the opponent while I set it for an alternative lethal. I go ahead and just check my discard because I didn't remember I had a Munkidori in there, but thankfully I have the Arven to grab the Nest Ball instead. We can just go ahead, I almost like happy switch an energy off my Munkidori onto the other Munkidori, which would have been bad. And I also almost messed up again by clicking on the Sylveon instead of the Munkidori. Thankfully, the Mimikyu only needed 10 damage removed from it, so kind of saved my skin there, but it could definitely fuck that up a little bit more. And so, you know, I think one thing that I've learned is that like your energy management is a little bit tough for certain situations, because you could definitely flood the field with energy, but needing very specific energy types in very specific scenarios is kind of restrictive. But generally, like if you can flood the field with energy, you'll have a big enough pool to work with for the rest of the game. I'm a god, so I just go ahead and top deck the Precious Trolley. We are going to go ahead and set up Chansey and double Eevee. Seeing as I have another Chansey in the active already, I think I'm fine. Also, I only set up one Eevee, my bad. I think that this is perfectly fine in this scenario. And I also go ahead and discard the energy from my hand instead. I think the reason for this is I just wanted to see like why I could get Greninja. And I have the Arven to go ahead and Earthen Vessel or Night Stretcher back whenever I need it anyways. So that's cool. I think I pulled the trigger on this Ultra Ball a little bit too early. I don't know exactly what I was thinking, but I was like, oh, I could just evolve the Eevee, but that's definitely not how it works. I've definitely played these Eevee decks enough to know that's not the case, so I really don't know why I Ultra Balled, because this is just going to become Prime by Iono fodder. That said, my opponent's going to Iono me. Oops. It's fine though, because my opponent also has an incredibly slow setup here, not really being able to set much up on their own side. And, you know, honestly, for this type of deck, it's really, really good that I am able to outpressure a lot of Dragon Ball stuff, and that they actually get punished for having to spread damage onto me, especially because most of my guys are pretty bulky, so, you know, 0 consequences. The Arven is gonna go ahead and be able to grab me a tool, but I'm kind of locked down what I have availability, which really sucks. I'm thinking about like whether or not I want to like Team Tera Energize again or whatever. So I go ahead and just grab a Nest Ball because I feel like the Eevee is gonna get knocked out next turn. And then what do I do next? I think I feel like I should have grabbed like what's it called? Why can't I not remember the name? I feel like I should have maybe grabbed the TM Turbo Energize instead, but I'm actually just gonna go ahead and swing to the Mew, which also is like completely respectable, because the sooner I can get the Mew out, the sooner I can start playing items that actually get set up here. And like I said earlier, like, if I am able to set up the Umbreon, then I should be fine, because the Umbreon can take a hit, but as long as the Eevee is vulnerable on the bench, then there's not much to be done about it, which is also why I like really wish I had an Eevee EX by the time that I was played at this point, because the Eevee EX would allow me to just use not Tera Trumpet, Glass Trumpet a little bit easier, and just enable a few more things here. I think one thing that I didn't even consider until this exact moment is you are already playing Water and Lightning for both the Sylveon and the Umbreon's additional attacks. So if you have the Luminous Energy, you can attack with Eevee EX. I don't think it's worth including a Fire Energy and a Flareon because it kind of distracts from the point of the deck, which is, hey, you got TM Turbo Energize for turn 2, and you don't have to rely on the Flareon, even though the Flareon is good, because your win con is a lot slower than that. I go ahead and just grab the Tera Orb, grabbing it so I can evolve the Eevee, which I will do here. I will go ahead and swap out, get all this going, and I do wish that I could do a little bit more, but, it's fine. I'm protected by Blissey, and it is going to be able to knock out the Duskull over here, which is going to save me a little bit of trouble. I really don't want the Dusknoir evolving and basically screwing up any of my leverage I have here, as well as the fact that my opponent doesn't really have a whole lot going on in their hand, so that's swag. I go ahead and TM Turbo Energize. I did think about Greninja for a second, but part of this is like, I'm like, okay, I can thin out energies for my deck, so the Greninja won't be necessary, and I'd much rather just have more energies in play with more things to do. Especially because I really don't want to Iono my opponent at this point. That said, they do have the Fezandipiti online, so it's like, okay, well, maybe we can just move on from our lives and keep going. But the Munkidors are doing their business, and they're checking the opponent down. They can't Duskull me very easily anymore, which is super nice. It relieves a lot of stress off of me to not have to worry about like Duskull plays as their potential form of comeback. Because currently, I'm just going to be able to swing and get ahead otherwise. I also pull out... What did I pull out here? I feel like I had a note here and I just completely forgot it. Oh, I get the Glass Trumpet, which is kind of nice. I'm able to discard this energy and just get a little bit extra value. And I'm going to get my Blissey set up. So I kind of have my ultimate board state here where I have 2 Munkidoris, 2 Blissies. Just a lot going on here in terms of just everything possible. I am going to go ahead and retreat here actually to try to preserve my Umbreon, as my opponent doesn't show any signs of having a good or capable supporter. And I'm also wondering where to put this damage onto. I know my opponent grabbed a Rare Candy or a Dragapult recently off of their Arven, so I'm like, in my head, it's like, okay, I want to pressure one of the Dreepies to evolve, so if I'm going to pressure one to evolve, I want to pressure it so they can't, attach to it very easily. If I put the damage on the one with the energy, that'd be a greedy play, but if they evolved it, I feel like I'd be making like not as much progress. Where this can, possibly help them be like, okay, well, it's gonna be really hard for you to get value out of this Dragapult you just evolved, and it's gonna waste some of their time having to, evolve the other one up. So that's the whole reason why I put it there. But you could have definitely justified it in putting it onto the one that had energy on it already, because in that case it's like, okay, well, this guy's gonna evolve, which means you might have to go through it anyways. And, I'm in a little bit of a precarious spot because everything has just a bunch of damage on it already. But seeing as I'm, like, kind of super far ahead, I think that I am just in a good spot to keep going. I'm going to go ahead and keep plowing more damage onto that Dragapult and try to turn it into a win con. I could possibly boss it up and knock it out, which is really good because it'll allow me to then win there without any other complications. And I'm definitely going to be able to knock out the thing in front of me. I think one thing that I do here that looks a little bit suspicious is play my Lumineon. I'm just sort of thinning cards out of the deck at this point because I really don't need a whole lot going on. And also just decide, hey, I'm just going to Iono. And I put the Forest Seal Stone on the Lumineon. And because everything on my field is already so damaged, I feel like the Lumineon is a low priority boss target. Like, I feel like you'd much rather get rid of the Umbreon or the Blissies that can actually, kind of fuck around with the opponent. So that's the whole reason why I put that as Lumineon, put the Forest Seal Stone on it, and Iono my opponent. It does also potentially allow me to draw further into my deck. I do think I should be playing the Tera Orb in my hand, by the way. I don't think it really does much, and I'd rather just draw an additional card that way, but it's whatever. Thankfully, with the Forest Seal Stone, the Lumineon, I have the boss locked down, so even if they end up, Iono me down to 2, then I win. and if they don't Iono me and they boss up my Lumineon, then I still also win, because I just have all the energy on my field ready to attack, so it's just a lose-lose for my opponent. It'd have to be playing... I don't even know what combination would get them there. I do have one last game here, and this is like the most updated version of the deck. I actually was only going to upload 2 games, but I was like, nah, I can squeeze out one more before work. And so I ended up getting this like really funny deck, or really funny game. It does kind of start off in a weird situation where my opponent ends up putting a Badoo into the active, and then I have the choice of like, oh, do I want to use Eevee to knock it out, or do I try and do something else here? Badoo Unlock is like annoying, but because the majority of my deck is focused on just TM Turbo Energize, I feel like I'm in a good spot. Until my opponent Iono's me away from my Team Turbo Energize. Thankfully, the 4 copies of Arven will get me there most of the time. So as long as I have a Blissey around, it'll be good. That's the only issue. And one of the reasons I really wish I could run a Cyrano is just because it would give me easier access to it gave me easier access to being able to grab all my evolutions under the item lock, which can be really annoying. I do think I got a little bit lucky when it came to these games, but it definitely is a concern. I go ahead and just do the safe play here. I thought about doing the damage, but was like, it's just going to make me really easy for the return knockout. And I'm just going to put the damage on Blissey's just in case. If it comes down to it, then I can just start swinging Blissey and then try to get the rest of my setup later, which is why I go down this route. My opponent also has double Badoo, so like, fuck this guy, really. Like, why is he doing this? He also goes ahead, puts a Sparkling Crystal down, already rare candies into Dusknoir, as opposed to Dragapult, so it's just like, I don't know what my opponent is doing, but he is definitely playing some lawn degenerate game here. I go ahead and just retreat and steal the energy off the Eevee. Oh, I don't even do that. I do move it to the other Eevee for safety reasons. I don't want it to just Dusknoir energy off the field, and now I can use Blissey EX to hopefully draw me into a little bit further. I get the Chansey here, and just completely forget that this is an effect on the Chansey. If he's still prized. That's so cool. I think this is the first time I've done that, and it's so funny. At least it's the first time I've done it in live. So yeah, we just, Iron Hands the fucking Badoo on turn 2 of the game. That's sick. That's awesome. As I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of run away with the game at this point. I mean, how is he gonna come back from that? He's already lost 2 prizes. And he's gonna lose a 3rd one now. So if he ever pops the Dusknoir, then I could just kill a 2-prizer and win the game from there. And even then, like, I can also Onyx and then take down a 1-prizer, so I definitely have a lot of outs available to me, as I'm just going to continue to harass the Badoos. So I can go ahead and get all access to all my tools and stuff like that. Yeah. So if we take in 3 prizes, my opponent has effectively done nothing to me. If this Dragon Ball evolves, I could take down my Eevee, sure, whatever. But with the rest of the energies on my field, I feel like I'm in a good spot. And, my opponent is going to finally go ahead and get set up here. The Lumineon could go ahead and grab Arven, which he could grab for a Sealstone and Rare Candy, or he could have just grabbed Iono and he could have tried to salvage the situation by top decking the answers there. But he's going to go with a little bit more of a consistent route. I feel like if I was my opponent, I'd probably go for the Iono instead, only because going for the Iono would disrupt me and my game plan a little bit, and at this point you're so far behind that you have to take the risk as opposed to going for the neutral game plan here, which is anything. My opponent is going to go ahead and Curse Blast, so he can go ahead and knock out this Blissey in front of him, which is respectful. It's definitely not a bad play, as we are going to go ahead and knock out the Blissey here, but because of Lumineon on my deck, I could just go ahead and set myself up here for greatness. And go ahead and Glass Trumpet, which I honestly don't even need to do. This is partially just BM, because I can go ahead and Ultra Ball for both a Lumineon, who will grab me the boss's orders, and a Munkidori, who will put on the last 10 damage I need to kill the Lumineon. And my opponent just handed me all the prizes this game between the 3 prizes for the Badoo and the 1 prize for the Dusknoir, and they couldn't do anything about it. I didn't even just happy switch the energy off the Munkidori just for an additional BM. So yeah, this deck's funny, it's cool. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment down below, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys around.